Funny thing about me that I've noticed is, first off, I have a trouble fitting into cultural mentalities. Like, there's just a way that people tend to work together. I'm not really good at fitting in that social aspect. It's like, I've always felt like people work on a trend. Like, there's just a general way that people tend to act based on where they're from. And where I'm from, there's certain ways that people expect me to act. But I've never really hopped on that. I've never really understood that. So because of that, I tended to be alone for the majority of my life. That's just the way that my mind worked. So that's one thing about me, but another thing I've noticed is I'm not too materialistic in the way that I notice a lot of other people are. I don't feel the need to buy a bunch of crap in the way that a lot of people I know do. And it's not because I'm controlling myself or I'm humble, it's that I just genuinely don't care about it. Like a lot of the crap that I see people buy, it's like, why do I need that? Why does that matter to me? And it doesn't, really. And I've never really thought about those two being connected, but perhaps they could be. I read this article on Psychology Today, and it's talking about how a lot of people buy things not because they genuinely want it. I mean, we talk about, do you need this? That's generally what we talk about, like food, shelter, enough clothing and stuff. We say, do you really need this? And obviously, people don't really need it. But it's possible that they don't even really want it. It's just been put to them in a nice way that it sounds appealing to them. I read this article on Psychology Today that was talking about how a lot of product creators and advertisers figure out the psychology behind this and figure out how to effectively market things towards people. Like there's this one quote from Steve Jobs back when he was running Apple, and apparently someone asked him how much market research he does before creating a new product. And he says that's a laughable idea because the consumer does not know what they want. It's the producer's job to tell the consumer what they want. It really doesn't work in the perfect theoretical idealistic model that we have of economics where people want something and the producer fulfills that desire. What we have now is people generally have a type of mentality that fuels them when they're looking for something, and the producers have found a way to control that in a way and get us to buy stuff because it's based on our culture. It's sort of our cultural mentality. I'm not exactly sure how it works, and I am interested to look into this more, but I just find that fascinating that the more in tune you are with culture, the more likely you are to feed into these type of things. And obviously I'm not totally detached from culture. Like for example, I tried getting some Old Spice body wash, and how did I know about that? I knew about it because there's the funny viral commercials, like with the Old Spice guy bursting through walls and screaming loud phrases. Or you've got the one where he's all suave and he's on a horse now and all that stuff. And that's how I heard about it. But that doesn't have anything to do with the body wash in and of itself. So why did that have any bearing on me doing it? It didn't. It just made me more aware of it. And because of the cultural connotation, I became more likely to buy it, even though it's not necessarily something I need. I don't need a new special body wash. It's just more than is necessary, especially since it probably costs more money because it's a special label. I don't know. It's just so weird, though. And it's really scary, especially considering that we could theoretically get to a point where we buy a lot of crap that we don't need or even want, but just because people know the exact buttons to push to control us. When I talk about controlling people, I'm not talking about like a zombie slave where you just have no mind at all. But the biggest way to control people and get them to do what you want is to convince them that what you want them to do is what they want to do as well. Because if someone thinks that something is in their best interest, odds are they're going to do it. And that's what you do in marketing. You make someone believe that they genuinely want it. Because obviously if someone's selling something to you, they're going to make money if the sale is made. But they don't pay attention to that. They pay attention to how you need it. You need this new product for only $19.95 or anything like that. That's just the mentality that we have. And we could get to a point where psychology is mapped out so well, because hundreds of years ago, physics, chemistry, those were all much more mysterious, but we learned more about them as time went on. Psychology is relatively new though, it's like 100 years old or so. We could get to a point in the future where we understand psychology so well that our minds could be mapped out and producers know exactly how to present something to basically make people buy something, and that scares me. It scares me. It makes me wonder if that's actually possible, but I don't know. All I know is the idea of knowing exactly how humans work. It sort of removes the magic of the human experience. And I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it's probably going to happen because if there's people who want to do it, they're going to do it. But once again, the idea is just terrifying to me. The idea that you can know exactly how to manipulate someone, like being a con man, except having 100% accuracy.